Hello and welcome to this morning's Liverpool news roundup here on Anfield Agenda. My name is Conor. Arne has just done his press conference ahead of the Man United game on Sunday. I'm going to take you through all of the main talking points from Arne press conference, including an update on Ryan Gravenberch, Ibrahim Konate and Alisson Becker's injury situations. We have some quotes around Alexander Isak and Arne expectations for him now that he seems to be getting to full fitness. We've got a little bit on Mac Allister's form. Like I said, the preview for the United game and just in general the three losses before the international break and how Liverpool can bounce back from that. So please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's jump straight into it. We'll start with the injuries then, and Liverpool have been handed a boost in this regard. Ryan Gravenberch was taken off at half time for the Netherlands over the international break, and people were worried that he was injured. He himself said it was mainly precautionary and he just felt a little bit of something in his hamstring. So, speaking about that, Slot said, Ryan is completely fit, still has to train, but fit. We are in a good place with the Dutch side. Ibu has come back to us and is expected to train today. Of course, Ibrahim Konate was sent home early from the French international camp with some injury struggles. Like he just wasn't really training over there and he got sent back. So it's good to see that he's expected to train today. If he trains today, I would expect he starts against United on Sunday. I know Craig went for Gomez in his predicted lineup. I think he was kind of just going off form on that as well, to be fair. So there's still an argument. If Konate's fit, would you start him against United? I personally would, but I'm open to debate on that. If people think Joe Gomez is the better fit for this game, then I'm completely open to that idea. But good news either way that Ibu does look to be fit again. He was then asked about Alisson Becker, who of course will miss the game of the weekend. He was asked if there was any update on how long he would be, and Arne said, difficult to say as the end phase of rehab always gives you positives and negatives, but not the weekend or next week. So yeah, we're definitely looking at multiple weeks here. Like I think 6 to 8 weeks was the original kind of time frame being thrown around. So I don't expect to see him anytime soon. I'm sure Mamardashvili will do a fine job in goal for us in those few weeks, but yeah, don't expect to see Alisson on the pitch anytime soon. Speaking about Alexander Isak's situation then, so he did get a good few minutes for Sweden over the international break, and Slot had this to say. He has had 5 or 6 weeks of pre-season, which is normal. Fitness-wise, he is close to the level, and we can judge in a fair way from now on. I know how this industry works. If he plays twice and doesn't score, that's not what you want. But he didn't, and I think his pre-season has maybe finished now. He has played a few games, 70 to 80 minutes, so let's see where he is. And that is obviously a positive. Isak is getting very, very close to the required fitness level, or what Arne Slot would expect him to be at. So I think from now on we will see Isak kick on. I'd expect to see him getting a lot more games where he's getting closer to the 90 minutes mark in the next few weeks. I'd expect he probably starts against United. I know there's shouts for Ekitike and maybe even Ekitike off the left, but even judging from what Arne was saying, it seems like he does want two fresh nines. So like Isak starts this game, Ekitike comes in for the last few minutes. Ekitike starts the next game, then Isak comes in for a few minutes. So judging from the comments I'm going to discuss in a minute, I'm starting to doubt that we will see Ekitike and Isak on the pitch much together. Maybe towards the end of games if we're chasing it, but I'm not confident that we're going to see them starting together based off the quote I'm going to go through in a minute. Arne was then asked about the fact that we're playing, I think, 7 games in the next 21 days. So pretty much every 3 days we have a game now coming up. So they are going to start coming thick and fast. Obviously, players are not going to play the full 90 minutes in every single one of those games. So he was kind of asked about, like, how do we rotate? How do we stay fresh? And he basically spoke and said that, like, whoever is playing, he expects them to play to the highest level and he doesn't expect a drop off, which is completely fair. But we do need to start seeing these partnerships be built up on the pitch, and we do need to see confidence in the system. Like, we still don't really know what the system is. So anyway, yeah, he was talking about rotation, and he says every team has to face schedules like this, so we have more than 11 players. If we rotate, you have to play more with the same players. Almost impossible to play players in the same position every game, as has happened with some players. You have to find a balance. The ones we have been together for longer. We have Alex and Hugo as nines who both know what to do in our system. I have more than 11 to play games, and this goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Like, even just mentioning Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike there, like, it does seem like with the games coming thick and fast, it will be a case of we want one or the other starting in each game. We have a guaranteed nine who's going to be fresh for every game. So if Isak's feeling a bit unfit, then you have Ekitike. If Ekitike has been run into the ground lately, you have Isak coming in fresh. So I would have my doubts about the two of them starting together. As much as I'd like to see it and would love to see it, I think this makes sense ultimately, especially with Arne Slot and Ruben Peters' approach to keeping players fit for the entire season. So I think it probably will be a case of one or the other, which is disappointing, obviously. But we are blessed all the same to have these two world class options in that striker position. So not a bad problem to have at all. But yeah, it would be nice to see the two of them start together, of course, wouldn't it? Next up, then, he was speaking about Alexis Mac Allister. He said he missed a lot of games. We expected him back for pre-season, which he wasn't, and that led to the fact he couldn't play 3 in a row, so he was in and out, and that is never ideal for a player. Like all the others, he is a player that has experienced so much in his career. He will be back at the level he and I want from now on. So, similar situation to Alexander Isak. Mac Allister, of course, was injured at the end of last season, missed out a good chunk of pre-season over the summer, so he's basically been doing his pre-season these last 6 or 8 weeks as he's come back from injury. So we should see him kick on from now. He hasn't been the player we know he is so far this season, and that can only be a positive thing, having him come back in. And again, the options in midfield we then have, like, we have Florian Wirtz, we have Dominic Soboslai, we have Ryan Gravenberch, we have Alexis Mac Allister, Wataru Endo, Curtis Jones. Like, those are fantastic options to have, and if Mac Allister can get back to his best, he's definitely going to be staking a claim to firmly put his name in the starting 11. Speaking specifically about the United game on Sunday, Arne had this to say: I look forward even more to Man United. I know how special of a game it is, the most watched all over the world, so special to be part of it. We have to be at our best. United had a better start than the table is showing, so very interesting game, especially as it's at Anfield. The fans have always been supportive. A team that lost 3 in a row, we need to be ready, but the fans need to and will help us. And it is like the perfect game, really, to bounce back from the 3 losses, isn't it? Like, Man United at home on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. If this was, let's say, a 12:30 kickoff against a Brentford or a Wolves or someone like that, like, it would be a little bit hard to really get up for it. But I think this is the perfect game to bounce back. Like, if we can get a result in this game and have a decent performance, then I think it will give us that foundation again to get our confidence back and bounce back for the next few weeks, because we do have some tricky fixtures coming up, and Arsenal have a bit more of a favourable run of games, so we need to be at it again. We need to be picking up points again, and we can't let Arsenal get too far ahead of us. So yeah, like Slot said, it's a very special game. I can't wait personally for it. I will be doing the watch along on Sunday, of course, as Craig is at the game. So if you can join me for that one, please do. It's going to be a bit of fun. Arne then was asked about Salah's kind of tracking back and whether the number 10 position is kind of affecting him in terms of if Florian Wirtz is there compared to Dominic Soboslai, who has an incredible work rate. And not to call Florian Wirtz lazy or anything by any stretch, but they're very different types of players. So in reaction to that, he didn't really answer specifically on the positioning and the tracking back element, but basically said that every player on the pitch has been given it their all, despite the results. Like, everyone has given it 100%. And he basically said the players give it all every game, first to last minute. In 3 games, we had to come back from a goal down, did it twice, but we lost. There should always be a reaction, not only from Mo, but all, which is completely fair. In fairness, like, I know we can argue over players like not tracking back at certain times or all, but like, to question anyone's work rate or anything that way, like, no one's being lazy out on the pitch, even with those losses. Like, we're not going to put that down to laziness. Individual errors, yes, that can be discussed, but definitely not laziness. To finish up then as well, he was speaking about the fact that we have lost 3 games in a row and how the players react to that, basically. So he said, what I like about top players, you don't notice anything if they win 3 or lose. They just prepare themselves in the same way at the same time. Outside world is focused on results, and us as well. We don't deny them here. We need to do better. And he did just kind of touch on the fact that, like, the players, like you said, they don't react in different ways. Obviously they will be happy with a win and upset with a loss, but like, the mindset and the heads just have to stay screwed on. Like, you can't get down in the dumps too much if you lose 3 games. You can't think you're the best player in the world if you're winning 3 games. You need to just take every game as it comes, prepare the exact same way, keep the world class standards, and don't get too flustered by outside world and the media and stuff like that. So it is good to hear that, like, the players don't have egos when they're winning. They don't kick themselves too much when they're losing. Like, it's just back to business. Let's just get the next game over and done with and try our best to get 3 points. So always good to hear that as well, that the players are keeping a professional kind of standard around the training ground when stuff like this happens. That's all from me anyway. If you did enjoy the video, please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Like I said, I will be live on Sunday. Not sure exactly what time yet, probably around the 4 o'clock mark. I might jump on a few minutes early if I'm feeling more confident. But yeah, please do join me for the watch along. That's going to be a bit of crack. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.